Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Again, the beautiful reminder of choice. And what is that choice about? It's about thought. Remember that. That's all it's about. That's the only free will you have. You don't have free will over your actions. The only free will you have is over how you're thinking. And from there, that's what leads to your actions. See, it starts there, it starts in the mind. And the sooner you connect with that, the sooner you'll be able to be free, free from the tyranny of second causes, free from the precedent, free from what somebody says, what somebody does, what you've done. See, that's where it's at. And that's what we want you to see for you in your life. That's something that both Dolly and I have worked diligently on in our lives when we both became consultants for Bob Proctor, me on my path, her on hers. And we wanted to know more about who we were and how our minds worked. And through those things that were shared by him, we started to use them. And next thing you know is we delivered some really great change. And again, that's what you have access to for you in your life. Think about that. You want to change your results, you want to change your life, you got to deal with the cause that's inside. You want to deliver what you've written down on a goal card, and every one of you should have a goal card, then you know what? It's there. You just need to lock into the state that represents this. And with that state, if you lock into it, all the plots, plans, dramas, situations are lying there dormant, waiting to be activated from you locking into that state. And when that happens, boom, it starts to take shape in your outer world. And that, again, is really, really amazing when you use it. See, you got to apply it. Application, baby, that's where it's at. All right, so what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, As a Man Thinketh, and Out from the Heart. If you don't have a copy of this, make sure that you do get a copy of it. Make sure that you underline it, highlight it, memorize it. But most importantly, beyond that, apply it. Remember, knowledge in and of itself has no power. It's only there to describe things that are explained from the mind of the person who wrote it. With that being said, when you make it so that it's dynamic the way that life is, boom, again, the change happens. So make sure that you are doing that for you in your life. All right, so you ready? You ready to dive into this and to lock into where we left off from? Type in the comments, I'm ready if you're ready. I'm ready. I know you're ready. Yeah, and you know what? I'm ready. We're all ready. So let's go ahead and go into this right now and use what we're sharing. Here we go. Boom. All right, so the page that we're on is page 66, okay? So, and here we're talking about how practice is what leads to things being easy for you. Now, again, think about how simple that is. Practice. It's one thing to know something, it's another thing to practice it daily, continuously throughout your life. And the most important thing with regards to that is when that happens, it then becomes what's called a habit. Now, here he points this out clearly when speaking of someone who aims to be excellent at any craft. He says, where is the man who sincerely aims at excellence in music, painting, literature, in any trade, business, or profession, who is not willing to give his whole life to the acquirement of his particular perfection? Shall labor then be considered where the very highest excellence is concerned, the excellence of truth? Now, again, these are really great questions. And you'll find as you see the answers that the ones who put in the labor, who put in the work, and remember, work is for us. That's something that's really important to get because work leads you to some really great fulfillment. But it's the ones who put in the work, it's the ones who practice that reap the reward, not the ones who read about it, not the ones who know about it, not the ones who sit passively and listen. And by the way, that's something that a lot of people have the habit of. I remember going through a lot of live streams, for instance, when I go live, and there'd be lots of people in the room, and the number of people who actually engage and type and take notes, it's very small. But those are the ones who embed within their subconscious these ideas, which then lead to the change in the results. If you just passively listen, that that's not going to help you that much. It's not going to help you at all. By the way, that ties into when we're here in these calls. I recommend you're constantly taking notes. Matter of fact, type in notes if you're taking notes. Let's see who's taking notes. Notes. Say notes. Okay. And those of you who weren't taking notes, you're probably going to take notes now. Go from there. All right. So, anyways, these questions are really great. He who says, the path which you point out is too difficult, I must have truth without labor, salvation without effort, that man will not find his way out of the confusion and sufferings of selfhood. He will not find the calm and well fortified mind and the wisely ordered life. Again, what is the emphasis here? It's work. You've got to do the work. This is something that we share with our mentors. We say, with regards to what we've offered to them to facilitate to their upcoming prospects or clients, is to be a product of the product, to use it in your life. That's what we were told to do when we first got into this world of personal development and started to lock into it. The thing that was told to us is be a product of the product. Use what you're being shared. And if you use it, you will understand it, which then will mean that you can transfer it, because when you understand it, you can transfer it. So, anyways, the one who says, just give me the knowledge without doing the work, that person will never understand and not be able to repeat it in other areas. And by the way, that's another thing that's really beautiful about what we've put together in emergence. Okay, I know we talk a lot about it. There's no such thing as self-sabotage, which is the liberator, and then emergence is the implementing tool. And it has a lot of stuff that's in there, but it's broken down into bite-sized chunks that are very easy to digest. They're very easy to understand. And through repetition, you go from one to the next, and it builds this thing called momentum and also this thing called compounding. And what's beautiful is when you have that way of thinking moving around in your life, you go up like a rocket, which is really amazing. With that being said, it still goes back to you got to do the work. I can't tell you how many times I've run into people that I've worked with, and Dolly will tell you the same thing with regards to the people that she's worked with. With what we share, it works 100% of the time that it's used. And it also fails miserably for 100% of the time when it's not used. And we've run into lots of people who've delivered incredible results, and then we clearly see that they've been using the material. And then the ones who it doesn't work for, we start to ask them, well, did you study and use it the way that we instructed? No. Yeah, well, that's why it's not working, because you're not applying it. See, that's why we put application as the very first lesson. You don't apply it, it's not going to change. So, anyways, it's still, again, you must practice it. And you're not going to get it just by reading, by passively listening, by thinking that, oh my gosh, the change is going to happen by just being there. No, again, it's the engagement. That's where it's at. Now, before we proceed further, for those of you who are watching this live stream and are feeling this and have this sense of, oh my God, this can help me a lot in my life, if that's what you're saying, stop thinking about it and make a decision right here, right now, and go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. See, that's where you can start, and you'll thank yourself later after you do that. All right, now let's go back. Now, again, think about what we're talking